The first most common bike fit related problem is back pain. Pretty much everyone who comes in the studio will get some form of back pain, neck pain. I'm going to throw numb hands in here as well, because this is essentially the same issue, which is been too stretched out and the core muscles overworking. So the core essentially shuts down and all the weight goes on the hands. I kind of call it the triangle of death, because you pretty much got your hands, your shoulders and your lower back. All form a perfect triangle, all the same problem. Now, a common misconception here is that you can fix this by putting on a longer stem. It's actually completely the opposite. You need to go shorter and taller in most cases. So if you've got this problem, if you can't fix it yourself, you're pretty much going to have to go and see a bike fit specialist to get it dialed in perfectly, because your balance is really important here. It's actually crucial that you balance perfectly between your seat and your handlebars. The second most common bike fit problem, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's a sore ass. Bad saddle fit, bad saddle, wrong size saddle, wrong fit saddle, all of the above. Make sure you get your saddle dialed in perfectly. Not every saddle is the same, and you've got different widths, you've got different padding, different types of saddles, short saddles, long saddles. You've got to get it dialed in, absolutely everything. Even your weight comes into this, your flexibility, the lot. Now, if you can't get us dialed in the bike shop, you can jump onto one of our websites, which is mysaddlefit.com, and you can follow the instructions and you can download a report, which will give you the best saddle options for yourself. So tri-fit, road, gravel, mountain bike, touring, absolutely everything. Third most common bike fit problem is numb feet, tingling toes. This is actually caused by the shoe in most cases, rather than just the cleat position, which you'll normally find if you go in somewhere and say, look, I've got a numb feet or tingly, they might move your cleats a little bit, but it's usually the actual shoe fit. So what happens is the foot is normally wider or have more mass than what the shoe does. Now, that just is, if you try something on in the store, it's probably going to feel okay, but you get out 2 hours into a ride, your foot's swollen, there's more blood flow, water weight, and that shoe becomes really tight. Stops blood flow, stops all your, it affects the nerves, and you've got lots of tingling. And in some cases, it's really bad. It can actually make your foot go completely numb. So the shoe fit is so important. Now, you always want a little bit of space around the foot when you're trying a shoe on in the shop. So what I like to do is do a tap test. Now, that involves just tapping around the upper of the shoe, around the forefoot, and just making sure there's a little bit of room so your foot isn't actually pushing up against the sides of the shoe. If you do that, you know you've got that room for your foot to expand in the shoe, and hopefully we'll get rid of your numbness. Number 4, knee pain. Now, if you haven't had knee pain, I'm sure you know someone who does, and it's one of the most common issues we have in here. There's so many things can cause it. One of the most common is your IT band, tight IT bands, which actually put a lot of pressure on the inside of the knee. So how do you fix that? You can do your normal, your rolling and your stretching of your IT band, and keep up, regular compound exercises. Things like squats and deadlifts are fantastic for this, and also keeping a good stabilization of the lower body as well. But, getting checked for cleat wedges is really important. Cleat wedges can really help open the knees up slightly, which takes pressure off down the outside on the IT band. And it can be that little bit of pressure that just takes that tension away from the knee. So it helps keep you nice and aligned when you're pedaling as well. So a good tip to do is just check yourself for wedges. You can see if your feet kind of angle up slightly, or if you're basically, if you feel pressure on the outside of the foot when you're riding, that's a good indicator that you may need some cleat wedges. Most bike shops can probably check you for this, so it's always worth going in. Takes around 20-30 seconds to do a check on this, so it's just a really easy thing to do, and it can really help your cycling and ease that knee pain as well. Number 5 is tight hip flexors, which almost ties in a little bit to number 4 and also number 1. So the IT band is actually connected into the hip flexor, so stretching those out is really going to help. Also, reducing your reach on the bike is also going to help. Pushing your seat slightly forward and up will also take pressure off the IT band and the hip flexor, which is always good. But the one thing you need, this is one of those things where you really need to go see a bike fit specialist for. It's, you know, these little tiny home remedies and home fixes, they're only temporary, and it's kind of like a Mexican wave with a bike fit. You adjust something somewhere, it goes all the way around the bike. And when you adjust it somewhere there, you might need to adjust it there and adjust it there to get it all dialed in. So as I say, it's not as common as the other ones, but it's one of those things that really affect your cycling, and it's it's not pleasant when you're riding with tight hip flexors. So there you have it, the 5 most common bike fit related problems. Now, if you have any other problems that I didn't touch on today and you want me to talk about in a future video, please let me know. Now, you can always email me at info@aucklandbikefit.co.nz. You can always comment on this video as well. I'd love to help and maybe do a video in the future addressing those issues.